Even changing her face, fleeing the country, and going down the whole yoga route wasn't enough to keep this one out of prison for doing something allegedly horrific. And we're going to talk about a couple of the updates in this case in today's video. Hello Sofa Squad and welcome back to the sofa. It's back there. Roscoe's hanging out. He's not cleaning his feet today, but he is chicken scratching, as we like to call it. My name is Paul, and what we're going to be doing today is we're going to be talking about a case that happened a minute ago, and it's one of those that just kind of has gone under the radar, but there's been a couple of updates, and when I say updates, I'm talking like one of them's, you know, several weeks old, right? But we've been busy here at the sofa doing, you know, the Letitia and the Lori and all that, and so when my friend sent me this article, I was like, oh my gosh, I forgot about Kaitlyn Armstrong. And so I just want to talk about this because I know there's a lot of new subscribers here and kind of prep everybody for what this one is and what's potentially coming down the pipeline. Now, just be forewarned, this ain't a long video today. Okay, so just know that. And what we're going to do is we're just going to talk about a couple of the updates in this. We're going to go over a very quick kind of synopsis of what happened in this case because, as usual, at the center of it, an amazing young woman lost her life, allegedly, to Kaitlyn Armstrong over a man. And so that's it. So let's go ahead and get into what the case is kind of all about. So Kaitlyn Armstrong, like I said, she stands accused of taking the life of pro cyclist Anna Mariah Wilson. Now, all of this, like I said, it took place over a man, and this was over a guy named Colin Strickland. He's also a pro cyclist, and he had dated the victim while he was like on the outs with Kaitlyn Armstrong. This whole relationship, this whole little triangle, it was just this on again, off again type thing. Now, I'll get into my opinions on all that toward the end of this. Now, allegedly, what took happen is that Anna Mariah Wilson, she's visiting, she's staying at a friend's house, and basically she got together with Colin. And Kaitlyn knows this. This kind of turns into one of those things where it's like, oh my God, like super stalker girlfriend, right? And so she allegedly shot and killed Wilson inside her friend's home. Now, this was on May 11th, not this year. A couple of years ago. And this was all over the fact that, you know, they had gotten together, and by they, I mean Colin and Anna. But now here's the thing with this case, right? Is when it happened, obviously it's horrible. It's like, what? But then what took place after, you're just like, okay. This is literally the stuff that movies are made out of. And honestly, if it ends up going to trial, and this is one of those where I'm just kind of tapping my finger like, what have you got to say, Kaitlyn? I mean, what can you say? So now some of the damning evidence was, first of all, Kaitlyn's Jeep. It was seen on surveillance near where the victim was killed, right? And not just near there, but I mean, like at the time of this. Like the timestamps don't look good in this, right? Now, so this all takes place. It doesn't take them long to figure out that it was her. So she sells that vehicle. Then she takes a bunch of plane trips, right? She goes from Austin to New York, then from Jersey to Costa Rica. Okay. Now, she changed her appearance. We're going to talk about that in a second, too. So, she cut her hair, she cut and dyed her hair, and then she had some, like, cosmetic work done. Now, like I said, she was in Costa Rica, and apparently she, you know, like, loved yoga, and she was gonna, like, you know, gonna be this yogi. And so, she was hanging out in this hostel, staying in a hostel, and took, like, these yoga classes and stuff like this. Like, literally kind of started this new life. And honestly, without even being there, I'm just like, oh my God, how can somebody do this? Do all this stuff, flee the country, and then probably play off this like, yes, I'm going to be really working on my zen and centeredness today. You know, I want to teach everyone here how to accomplish these chakra goals so you can be in alignment like I'm in alignment. You know, I can already see it, right? Which is the sickening part of this, okay? Anyways, so she gets picked up in Costa Rica. Well, here's the thing. You know, this is when they discover, like, okay, homegirl has completely changed her look. We found, you know, passports, receipts for cosmetic surgery, you name it. all of this evidence, right? And then clearly the proof is in the pudding, and we're going to look at her pictures here in a minute. Okay, so let's quickly get into the updates, and then we'll like look at the pictures and kind of like talk about it. So she was supposed to be going to trial in June, right? Now she still has a hearing in June. She doesn't have to show up to it, but it's been pushed back to October 30th of this year. So there's that. Now the latest, like other than that, like the other update that happened was back in November. And basically, her team was trying to suppress evidence, and the judge was like, no, it ain't gonna happen. Now, the evidence that they were talking about is the defense said that a May 12th interview between the Austin police and her, it was basically unfair, and, you know, they were trying to suppress everything that was said in that. But the judge was like, nope, not the case. She was not under arrest when she was speaking to the detectives, and therefore she had no Fifth Amendment right to counsel. So that's gonna go through. I personally can't wait to see that one. Okay, so there's that. Like I said, October 30th, we're going to be on the lookout for it. Now, let's take a moment and look at her face. So first of all, I'm going to put these pictures up here, and these were some of like the obvious, the mug shots, the original pictures of her, stuff like this. Now, granted, there's going to always be a little bit of difference with age, but you can see the difference, right? I mean, she definitely looks, you know, there's a noticeable difference in her bone structure, her face. I mean, it just looks like she had a facelift, right? She got rid of the cheeks and all that kind of stuff. Now, let's take a look at her in, you know, court, which I'm just like, my God. And I guess it's not, it's shocking to me to see really how different she looks. And again, thank God they caught her right off the rip. Because honestly, I'm just like, you know, this is the stuff that you hear in movies where somebody has the wherewithal to commit a crime, get plastic surgery, and then go into hiding in another country. Now, I'm sure her craziness, her narcissism, whatever you want to call it, probably got the better of her. Because like, if I did this and had the means to change my face and do all this kind of stuff, get out of the country, yada, 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 I'm not going to be going to classes and doing this and that. Now, who knows, maybe she had to live, but it was almost like she was like, I'm just gonna, you know, continue on with my life goals and just, you know, do what I need to do as an individual. And that's just the part that gets me with this, because at the end of the day, poor little Anna, you know, Moriah Wilson, she's been murdered in her friend's apartment. And on that note, let's talk about all that for a moment. So there's a couple of things going on here. You know, first of all, like I said, she is, you know, visiting, she sees this guy. My personal opinion, and I'm not trying to sit here and blame one person or other, because at the end of the day, Kaitlyn made the decision to kill this woman over Colin. But Colin and Kaitlyn's relationship sounds messy, and it sounds all over the place, and I feel like Anna would still be alive if this hadn't been a messy little triangle thing. And what I mean by the triangle thing is, I don't think Anna was a knowing participant in the triangle, if that makes sense. Not in this go around, because it's like him and Kaitlyn were split up, and just when the evidence came out about it, it just seemed really grimy, right? It seemed really, really grimy the way this went down, because obviously Anna lost her life. And so, you know, she's in town visiting, and I just felt like this was a, you know, out of left field for her. I mean, obviously, right? But on that note also, her friend that came home and found her dead, can you imagine? Can you imagine what that must have been like? Obviously, her family, her loved ones, all this, nobody's expecting something like this. I mean, for God's sake, she probably wasn't either, right? And so then to see the chase that goes on of, like, you know, this woman, you know, Kaitlyn has run off, changed her face and all this stuff, absolute slap in the face. So that being said, I am very curious with this to see if it will end up going to trial or if she will plead out. I have a feeling that she will probably take it to trial, because how so many times they do, right? They are convinced in some way or shape or form that they can do something to get out of it, and who knows, maybe she can blame Colin. I don't know, you know, but to me, I'm just like, I'm sorry, you know, and I get that everyone gets their day in court, and 100% I stand behind that and believe in that, but there's a lot of times where I'm just like, okay, what are you going to try and get out of this when the evidence is overwhelming? But then maybe they look at it like, well, I have nothing to lose at this point, so why not? I'm bored, I'm sitting in jail. I mean, who knows? Anyways, but this is one Pay attention to it. It's going to be coming down the pipelines. We definitely want to see justice for Anna. Her life should not have ended in this way at all. I mean, she was like a go-getter. She's a pro cyclist, right? I mean, in a good one. She had a lot, well, I should say, it's not that she offered this world a lot, and she had a lot to still offer it. And the fact that she lost her life over this drama, over this man drama, is absolutely disgusting. Anyways, that's it. I had to hold Roscoe because he was chicken scratching so much. I think he just wanted to be a TV dog today. Anyways, I hope everybody's well. And again, just be on the lookout for this. If you're still watching, drop some sofas for Roscoe to chicken scratch at. And until we gather around the old chicken scratcher here, I'll see y'all then.